I don't have that much prepared. I also don't really have anything prepared. We're just going on fly. So, if you don't know me, my name's Emma. Why are you bringing that out?
Well, I recorded Mark, so I was going to record yours, too. It's going to be great.
Okay, so I'm first going to start with how I grew up, like how I started. Boy, don't test me. How I started in the church. So, for some of you, you don't know, I actually was in this youth group. I started when I was in 6th grade, all the way up until my senior year. My senior year, my youth director, she's like my older sister now, she decided to leave and move on with her life. And it was super hard for me because that's all I had known, right? It's like some of you only know Krista as your leader, and then she leaves, and you're like, what am I gonna do, right?
You lost.
And you kind of start thinking all these different things. And my thing was, I got really upset with God. And I was like, why did God let this happen? Did he ask Megan to leave? Like, all these different things were going on in my head. So I kind of hit a point where I was like, I'm done with my faith journey. And senior year, the summer of senior year, I was working at a pool, and a bald man named Brett Gresham, he was like, I think you should come to Wesley. And at that point in my life, I couldn't really look at a pastor and say no. So I really struggled. I was like, I don't want to, but I have to make other people happy. My whole thing growing up was, I'm going to sacrifice my happiness for other people and make them happy before I prioritize myself. So I was like, I'll go to Wesley, I'll try it, I'll hate it, I'll move on with my life. But fast forward, I'm still there 3 years later. And it was honestly one of the greatest decisions that I could make. Then I was like, I want nothing to do with the youth group because I was mad. I was like, youth group sucks, all this stuff. But then Krista asked me to become a youth leader, and I was like, I don't really have time for that. I don't really care. But here I am 3 years later, still in this position, right?
Don't you dare laugh at me. Come on, keep preaching.
Okay. Yeah. So here I am 3 years later. Needless to say, my faith journey I explain it as if it's a roller coaster, right? Like at one point, I'm like, this is awesome. I love everything. I love myself. I love God. Something happens. It goes downhill. I hit rock bottom. Just 2 weeks ago, I was living life to the fullest, my true self. Then 2 weeks ago, I found out that my biological father passed away, and I had another roller coaster moment where I just went rock bottom. And the last 2 weeks, I've kind of been like, why does God let bad things happen? Everybody uses the saying, everything happens for a reason. If that's the case, what is the reason for this, right? I just asked so many questions. And growing up in the church too, I was told that if you questioned God, it was a bad thing. And I'm here to tell you tonight that your questions are valid, and please question God because it is important. And if you want to know more about that, I will help you. Because questions are a very good thing, and if you ask questions, that's showing that you want to learn more and figure out who you are and what you believe, and not what other people are telling you to constantly believe, right? So that's kind of my little faith journey summed up really quick. But who I was 3 years ago, 2 months ago, is very different than who I am now, right? And I can guarantee I will look at all of you and tell you who you think you are now is probably going to be different than who you are in a year or in 5 years or in 10 years. because you're constantly going to grow. You're going to form these new thoughts, questions, ideas, all these things about who you are. And at the end of the day, you are going to become this beautiful soul. But yeah, I don't really know what else